Good morning, this is my Shaman Oracle reading for this new week. Today is Monday, and today I'm reading for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. And this reading here is for Cancer. Welcome, Cancer. Before I start, let me quickly introduce the Wild Unknown Archetypes Deck. It has different sections, the Selves, and the places and the tools, and these three I'm using for this reading. I divided the cards, I shuffled them, and I assigned one card each for each zodiac. So let me start the reading for Cancer. The so-called Selves card that came out for you is the Shadow. And there was long ago once a radio show called The Shadow, with a man speaking with a very intriguing voice. I heard somebody telling me this. And this happened, the Shadow radio show happened in the United States. So let me take a reading now with the shadow of this deck. And here the shadow is the unspeakable, the unwelcome, and the denied. Although every card in the archetypes deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that a shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole rather than getting to know the qualities and the content of our shadow. We busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is called denial. When this card appears, it is time to take inventory of those things you have been denying. When the mind responds with no, anything but that, you are touching the shadow realm. So find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. Contemplate the following scientific observation. The closer an object, a person, a place, or a community is to the light, the longer the shadow it will cast. And reflect on this statement. In the shadow of the gods are the very gods themselves. And next card is the Places card, and that one is called the Faultline. And the Faultline is the crack and the weak link. Imagine walking across a frozen lake that begins to crack before your eyes. No matter how optimistic and brave you might be, panic happens. You become fearful and tense, and you long for a stable ground. Such is the energy of the fault line. It is the energy of walking on eggshells, of precarious dynamics, of sensing what is ready to break open into chaos. It is likely this cracking open that is overdue as fault lines develop slowly and naturally from underlying elemental pressures. This card comes as a potent warning not to deny the shakiness that is afoot. It's much better to prepare yourself for change than to walk along the fault line and pretending all is well. There is no easy fix for the situation at hand. It will require a foundational shift that alters the current dynamics from the ground up. It is possible that something a loved one said caused a crack in your relationship that has never been mended. So revisit it. The time to heal is near. And in Japanese kintsugi pottery, gold is used to amend the cracks. Breaks are thought of as precious rather than something to be hidden. And the tools card for you that came out is the sword. And the sword is the knife, the blade, and the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another, and the choice is made, and all else falls away. So if you find a sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and also a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at our birth, when the cord we shared with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourselves. We must make these cuts again and again in life if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. Contemplate the Buddhist philosophy of the first and second arrow. This Buddhist philosophy of the arrow says that through our human emotional responses to things, the first arrow hits us when a painful event occurs, and this hurts us. And the second arrow, which then is our reaction to the event, only is adding more to our pain. So, long before psychologists started talking about primary and secondary emotional responses, the Buddha noticed and spoke of this human tendency. Also, boundary making, prioritizing, and clarifying are all gestures made responsible by the sword. The sword is also a metaphor for the pen and the brush, the artist's fierce and graceful tools. So, Cancer, that was your reading. Thank you very much for listening. I wish you a wonderful day today. I wish you a great week ahead. Take care and goodbye.